Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be doing the North Melbourne vs Carlton game review from AFLW round 2, going through how North Melbourne dominated in a very high scoring fantasy game. It wasn't necessarily the most interesting game, as North Melbourne scored I think the first 6 goals, and then Carlton kicked one, and then North decided to kick 4 very late goals. So they ended up winning 66-6. So it wasn't the most intriguing game. It was more interesting at the point when it was about 5 or 6 minutes to go in the game, and North were up 42-0, and it was whether Carlton were actually going to score a goal. They ended up scoring a goal, a solitary goal. But yeah, it just wasn't a good performance from Carlton. They had some players do all right, but mostly just wasn't the greatest. And also, I got Anthony in, and now she's probably going to go because I need to upgrade my ruck department, as I just went for the wrong ruckman. So before we get into the video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. So as you can see here, Jasmine Garner was the massive show in here. Let me actually make this bigger for you guys. That should be better. As you can see, Garner 156, absolute huge, 36 touches, 5 and 10, absolute huge game. And yeah, this is the type of output that's really gonna, showcase how AFLW players score. It's the high tacklers that score really well. There's not really a massive marker in the game compared to the men who have like Zeeble, Sicily, and some others. That were really high marking players. It seems like the ones that get the most tackles basically are the best, because that seems like the highest percentage of score comes through tackling. We saw 69 tackles here. 70 tackles is 280, so it was around about 25%, I believe, just 22% from North Melbourne was through tackling. If I just do these stats quickly, 276 divided by 1316 times by 100, so it was 21%, 20.97% for North in this game was from tackling. If we look at kicks as well, obviously kicks is 176 kicks, so they actually had a lot of kicks, so they were high on the kicks. And then for Carlton, they seem like they're an even higher tackling output side. 81 times 4 divided by 1124, and you'll see that they're at 28% from kicks, and whereas they were, let me just quickly do this, 1, 2, 4, they were 35% through, so they were, 29% through tackles and 35% through kicks. So that seems like the major output for a lot of teams is that. But now looking at the players here, you can see the sort of the trend line here that I'm trying to portray is that Garner and Riddle are going to be two of the best midfielders to get, because not only are they in a really good side at the moment, North Melbourne, they have a bunch of the ball. 30 touches in AFL Fantasy, AFL or AFLW Fantasy is just absolutely ridiculous. And that's going to, in itself, like if you look at that, that's 92 points in itself just from disposals. If she's getting 20 kicks, 10 handballs, that's 80. So 80, and then just adding up 4 and 4 or something like that, that's a 108 right there. She also kicked a goal as well. Don't think you can rely on her kicking a goal each game. But 156 from 2016, 5 and 10, and then Riddle, same pretty much stat line. Just had a free kick against and no goal, which limited her to a 151. And then you have Randall here, and you can just see the drop off. So I really do like Garner and Riddell this week. I need to look at last week's disposal split, because if they're getting, what is that, around about 290 disposals, and they're getting roughly between them around 1/10 of the disposals or 1/9 of the disposals each, then you can't fault 36 divided by 290 and see, I think it's going to be around 8.5. 36 divided by 290, Around about 1/8 of the disposals each. So they're getting around a quarter of the disposals combined with their 36 each, so 72 combined. So they're getting an eighth of the disposals. They're getting around about a seventh of the tackles and around about a tenth of the marks, So they're getting roughly around 10% or so, or 12% of the of the fantasy share of their whole team. So that's just ridiculous. Randall, Idley, Bresnan, King, Rennie, Sherlaw, Carney's one that's interesting. I think she's one that a lot of top teams will be able to move on for, like a Priest, Stannett. Let me just check here the defenders. You can kind of see my trades already. Let me change this to all players defenders. Lampard's an interesting one, but like Gabby Pound, O'Driscoll, Diarcy, Sidunary, Stannett, Sansonetti, Bresnan, and Priest is low, but she had 100% CBA, so I'd be jumping on her this week or next, as I think she's going to have that week where she just explodes and becomes almost unattainable. Ferguson, none of these girls really matter for North outside of Kearney, Sherlaw, and I guess the top Gardner and Riddell. Then we move over to Carlton, and you got Mimi Hill, 96. Just a lot handball happy, which is quite annoying for fantasy. I mean, if she was able to, if I bring it up here, you can see 7 and 24, 31 touches but 24 handballs. If she's able to flip that to 15 and 16, that's a 104 waiting to happen there. And she had a really low mark and tackle output. Like, we're looking for 8 in the men's, and I think realistically you're looking for girls that have about 6 or so plus tackles in the women's, because they'll get occasionally at least a mark or two a game. Occasionally they'll get 5 or 6, like you can see with Gardner and Riddell. But she's not really a non-disposal getter. It seems like much similar to Conti. And that's why you see that kick to handball ratio is just poor, to be honest. Then you have Harriet Cordner, and she is a massive non-disposal points winner. 7 marks, 5 tackles. What's that? 35 plus 6, 41 points in non-disposals. And that added up to 94. Then she had 2 free kicks which, like I said, that gets her up to 43. But then she also had 51 points in disposals. So that's a really good, just level playing field. And I think she's one that we might be able to ride for the whole year. So that would be good. Mackay, 93. She was all right. Gabby Pound, I think I'm going to give it a week as I try and fix up my midfield. As you can see here, just trying to fix up the midfield and the ruck line, as I think I can wait a week with my forwards. And next week I plan on, I guess, using the cash from Stratton, Nansquin, or just one of those two to upgrade the backline, as I think there is a lot of, since Kearney is still holding a lot of cash, I think there's a way to get to Pound and Priest off of Thomas and Kearney, it looks like, as well as upgrading Nansquin, who will be probably 600 or so K, or Stannett, is it Stannett? No, Stratton, who will be 600 and something K after her performance as well. Pound, Shirar, she was actually really good, 90, 12, 11, 3 and 7. Bree Moody, 6, 2, 5, 4. She's just an all-round performer. She just needs to lift her overall. It's not one area that Bree Moody needs to improve on. It's just an overall lift. I think she is getting stuffed over that she is sort of playing in a double ruck. If Bree Moody was a singular ruck, then she'd be really good. But playing in a double ruck, you sort of seen it with Grundy and Gorn in the men's, how they can only really get in the men's to 170 or so, 185, something like that between them. But when they average on their own with a secondary ruck, that's sort of 185 to 190 is sort of what a ruck combo does in a game. It's just what is this, or top ruck combo, what is the split between them? And usually when it's a singular ruck, as in a main ruck and a secondary ruck, you'll usually see the main ruck get their absolute top like average. So with Gawn, that's like a 110, English a 120, etc. And then the secondary ruck makes up about 50 or 60. With here, with the women's, take into account that you have 85% game time. You scale that 185 down, and I think you get closer towards that like 150 range. 1 second. You get 157, and you look here, Bree Moody and Good combined for 137. So that's roughly or not. It's within that range. And you see here that it's just so evenly split with Moody and Good that you can even see here that Good is taking up more of the ruck contest and everything because she's got more of the hit outs, and Moody is making that up with a lot of tackles and marks. So there's not much more that I think Moody can actually do, and I think she's going to really struggle to actually do really well, and that's why I don't think anyone should be picking her. And then there's no one else here really that's too interesting from Carlton's perspective. I mean, Galpos getting a 28 sort of really helps for those people that brought her in because it set them back a little bit. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. A little bit longer when I plan to actually make this a little bit shorter. But that's the way it is, I guess, going through. This was an actually really interesting game on the surface of how the women's fantasy works, I'm pretty sure. And I think it's just me trying to figure out ways to catch up, I guess, in a certain way, or just limit the damage, as I'm 300 behind. If I can limit the damage now to the people up the top and really only hold, sort of get that only down to like 500 or so behind by the end of it, I think I'll be really happy, as that will mean that I'm climbing the ranks. It's just these initial weeks that I really struggle with trying to find that initial person, but then with the more data, I really start to, I think, do better than the rest of the field. So that's the video, and I'll see you guys in the next recap. Thanks, guys. Goodbye.